I tried every complex morning routine to wake up at 5 a.m. for yoga and failed until I realized that the secret isn't in the morning at all. It's about what you do the night before, and it only takes 3 days of pain to overcome. I'm Sushmita, but you can call me Sushi, and on this channel, I help you get on your mat, reclaim your focus, and carry on with your rest of your busy day. You see, the wellness world has sold us this idea that we need a complex morning routine, and that's the key to keeping well and staying healthy and doing all these things with our life. But this pressure for perfecting our mornings is actually setting us up for failure. So if you don't want to worry about what to do each morning and you finally want to just step onto your mat and feel focused and feel energized and feel in control, then there's a link for that in the description below where you can set up a call with me. But more on that later, because today what I'm going to do is ask you to just ditch all those elaborate rituals, because I'm about to share something super minimalistic, and it's actually going to improve your well-being and help you sustain a yoga practice for a lifetime. So let's dive right in. So maybe you've set a dozen alarms in the past, you've rolled out your mat in the dark and you've tried meditating, you've even maybe bought this expensive sunlight lamp for the winter months. Even though you scrolled through dozens of social media videos telling you how the 5 a.m. Yogi Club is the best thing ever, you still hit the snooze button 9 times this morning, and you keep telling yourself this lie that you're not a morning person. Well, the brutal truth is that all of that advice is flawed, and you're failing to actually wake up for your practice because you've been focusing on the wrong thing. You're trying to solve a 5 a.m. problem that was actually created at 11 p.m. the night before. And the secret to mastering your morning practice has nothing to do with the morning at all. It's all about what you do the night before, and it's far, far simpler than you think. The whole wellness culture is so hyper optimized to be this kind of yogi that's, super flexible, super fit, and super disciplined and wakes up in the morning. But it's actually this form of just wellness theater, and it looks great on Instagram, and we believe that those people do that 365 days a year. But in real life, it feels awful because you're tired by 11 a.m. and you can't focus on your work. We see gurus who repeatedly tell us that, they can do an hour of asana and meditate for 1 hour and write their best-selling book before it's 6 a.m. And you think, if I just had more willpower, I could be that person too. But that's just a lie, because if you actually looked at their mornings and you followed them for a week, you'll know the reality is probably different than what they say on the Instagram. So this isn't a willpower problem. It's a biology problem. Not a problem, but a biology thing to deal with. The brutal truth is that no amount of perfecting your morning routine will ever change anything if your night routine is garbage. So waking up early for your practice is not this battle that you have to win in the morning. It's actually been lost the night before, and you're trying to win a losing battle basically. So your morning isn't a fresh start. It's actually kind of like a report card of what happened the previous night and what you did the previous night. So when your alarm goes off and you want to stay warm inside your blanket, it isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a symptom that you've been focusing on the wrong things, or you haven't focused on the right night before. And this is where we really need to get into the science. And I know it's going to be a little bit complex, but I'm going to try and simplify this for you, I promise. Basically, there's 2 forces inside the body that determine whether you wake up feeling ready for your practice and ready to take on the day, or you just feel stiff as a board and you feel like you've been hit by a truck. You can ignore these 2 things that I'm about to say, but I promise you won't be able to wake up and practice in the morning if you just ignore this, because this is biology, and every single time this happens, I see this with my students all the time. And I know because when I tried to do this for myself, I sat down and I researched this and I looked at all the Andrew Huberman videos about this, and I finally kind of understood the biology, and that's how it actually helped me wake up earlier. So the first force is sleep pressure. Think of sleep pressure kind of like a biological thirst. From the moment you wake up, your body starts producing this chemical called adenosine. So as the day goes by, this chemical builds up more and more, and this thirst for sleep gets stronger and stronger as you reach the evening. So when you actually end up sleeping, your body is desperately thirsty for sleep. The problem is, most of us spend our evenings scrolling through our phones or watching TV or working on our laptops until we're so tired that we can barely keep our eyes open, and then we have to sleep. So each hit of that stimulation, each time we see that blue light, it's almost like you're fighting against the sleepiness that's being built up naturally in your body. So you're telling your brain, I know you're tired, but no, you have to stay alert because we have to follow the plot on this drama. We've got to get this done because, there's a big meeting tomorrow. And when you finally get to bed, like literally 10 minutes after you finish this complex email that you've been thinking about this whole week, you lie there with your mind racing and you wonder why you can't get to sleep. So you've been fighting with your own biology, and how can you expect yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. and get your yoga practice in if you're actually just fighting with yourself in this way? Sorry, that's just not happening, and that's not the way it works. The second force, and I think this one's even more powerful, is the circadian rhythm. Now, Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot, but basically this is kind of like your body's internal 24-hour clock, and it's kind of like this master regulator that tells you when to be alert and when to be sleepy. And it mainly goes on two main hormones. There's the cortisol hormone, which is the wake up and go and get things done hormone. And then there's melatonin, which is the wind down, rest and sleep hormone. Now, the simple thing to understand is that darkness actually triggers the production of melatonin and light triggers the production of cortisol. And for thousands of years, this was kind of easy, right? Because when the sun went down, our brains made melatonin and then we felt sleepy and then we slept. Then the sun came up and then our brains got this blast of life because we were living in caves and cortisol surged and then we woke up. Now, if we look at our modern lives, even if it's 10 p.m. in the night and it's dark outside, your brain is still begging to stop seeing that screen that you're seeing and start producing melatonin. But because you're staring at this super bright screen till the very moment when you have to sleep, that blue light especially is really bad for you apparently, and it screams to your brain, it's daytime, get alert, we have to do more things, and it actively blocks the production of this chemical called melatonin. So by the time when it's 5 a.m. in the morning and your alarm goes off and it's pitch dark, you're confused about why you can't just get up and do yoga because your bedroom is dark and you don't have that same production of cortisol like we did thousands of years ago. So you haven't even given your brain the single most important signal that it's time to start the day, which is light. So let's reframe this and learn how to kind of deal with this. Waking up for practice has nothing to do with discipline or dragging your stiff body out of bed and forcing it into the shower for cold water so that it wakes up. It's about having the discipline to properly prepare for sleep the night before. So instead of creating a list of 20 different supplements that you've got to buy or rituals that you've got to incorporate, let me break down a simple 3-step system that's designed to work with your biology, not against it. So step number 1 is the shutdown trigger, and this is a 90-minute rule. This is the most important step and it's a non-negotiable. Exactly 90 minutes before you plan to be asleep, all screens go off. So no phone, no tablet, no TV, nothing like that. No exceptions. I'm serious. You've got to take this seriously. I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, 90 minutes? What am I supposed to do? Sit and stare at a wall for 90 minutes? Let's be clear. This is the one thing that you can do to actually help yourself wake up in the morning. And the key is not to be productive during this time. The goal is to kind of send a signal to your body that the day is over, that you can completely wind down and that it can finally start producing that melatonin. And when you do this, you've got to do really simple, frankly, kind of boring things to send this signal to your brain. So read a real physical book. Maybe listen to an audiobook or some calming music in the background. Maybe just do a quick 10-minute tidy of your space so that, in the morning when you wake up, the dishes are already put away and you're not stressing about doing housework the first thing when you wake up. And then maybe talk to someone. This one is really good because then, you can do something without a screen between you, if that's possible, and your partner, your family is next to you. But then after all of this, if you don't feel your mind is actually slowing down, then you've got to do it for long enough time that your brain actually rewires itself. Now, I like to give people a simple, gentle, restorative yoga routine. It's also inside my Yoga Mastery program. So if you want to do that, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, there is a link in the description below. But the shutdown trigger isn't just one more thing that you have to do on your to-do list. It's a clear boundary. It's where you're telling yourself, You don't have to keep problem solving and information gathering and doing all the things, my dear brain. All you have to do is chill out for now because we need to sleep. And step number 2 is the brain dump. Now, this is great if you have like an anxious, busy mind, because first you've shut down all these external inputs. But what happens about the internal inputs, right? When you're lying there and you're on bed, like you're just going to be thinking about all those things. You're going to be like playing out this whole serial drama in your mind about what happened and like things that you still have to do. So this is where the brain dump comes in. So it's almost like an external hard drive for your mind, and it helps you just clear the clutter a little bit. So what you have to do is just get a piece of paper and a pen, and on the left side, you're going to write down every single thing that's taking up space in your mind, whatever it is, whether it's something that you haven't finished today, something that's making you anxious, like random ideas that you've thought of, whatever it is, just get it all out, don't organize it, write it down in a list. Now, on the right side of this paper, I want you to write down the very next step. So really small, just like, for example, for me, it's like if I have to plan a yoga retreat, it's not like do the whole project. It's like call 5 retreat venues. You know what I'm saying? Like just simple next step so that your brain goes into the next day knowing that, you know, these are the things that it has to focus on, and it gives it an even more powerful trigger because it has purpose and things to solve, right? So the simple act actually tells your brain, I hear you. I know that we've got to solve all these problems. I've captured the thoughts. But you can let go and we can sleep now and we can get into that rest and digest mode. The last one, step number 3, is to create an environment shift or to create like a cave for your sleep. So once you've done the shutdown trigger and you've written down all your thoughts, you need to prepare your environment. Just like your mat is a sanctuary for your practice, or at least I hope that it is, your bedroom should be a sanctuary for you to actually get rest. So we're optimizing your sleep cave for 3 main things. We're optimizing it for darkness, for temperature, and for quiet. So first, darkness. I mean, absolute can't even see your hand in front of you kind of darkness. Even small like LED things from your Wi-Fi or from whatever device is there can disrupt your sleep. So invest in blackout curtains if you need to, put like a little tape over those LED lights, or just buy a simple like sleep mask. And this guarantees that your brain is just seeing pure darkness, and that's what it needs to create the most melatonin that'll then get you into sleep. The second thing is temperature. Now, this is the one thing that people get wrong, because your body's core temperature needs to drop in order for you to like initiate this state of sleep and also maintain deep sleep. So step number 3 is quiet. This is the most obvious one, but it's often the one that's most overlooked because we can't control the noise in our environments. Even if we choose to sleep early, maybe our family sleeps like 2-3 hours after us, and these sudden noises can just pull you out of deep sleep. So what I like to do is either just play like white noise in the background, or if I can't play the white noise or like other people are in the room, then all I do is like get earplugs in my ears and I'm able to sleep. So simple things, really important things. But if you focus on these 3 variables of light, temperature, getting the right temperature, and sound so that you actually get yourself into a state of rest, then I promise you, you'll see a real difference. So what happens when you actually do all of this? What does your morning look like now? This is the beautiful part. And when you win the night before, when you do all of these things, the morning almost becomes effortless. Your morning routine is no longer this draining chore where you force your groggy brain to like wake up and get onto the mat. Because you've built up a proper sleep pressure at night and you've allowed that melatonin to work its magic, you'll often feel like you're waking up even a few minutes before your alarm. And that's your body's natural cortisol level rising, and it's waking you up super naturally. And when your alarm does go off, you don't hit snooze. By the way, snoozing your alarm just gives you this fragmented, low quality sleep, and it just makes you more groggier and stiffer instead of like giving you an extra 10 minutes of sleep. So instead, you end up just like getting up, placing both feet on the ground, and almost like feeling like, okay, I'm ready to take on this day. I'm ready to see what the day brings for me. And when you open up the blinds immediately and you stare at the soft light, what happens is that it sends this signal to your brain that cortisol can now be produced. If you can, even take your coffee outside under direct sunlight. After that, the rest is simple. You can hydrate, get on your mat within 30 minutes so that, you don't end up wasting your time and it's too close to the next thing that you have to do and you end up canceling yoga. The most important and often most overlooked part of this entire morning routine is a social cue. So if I have to teach a class at 5:30 a.m., there's no way I'm going to snooze my alarm. I'm always going to be there because I know that other people are waiting for me. So you can truly tap into this power of group accountability. If you want to practice in a live class within the Yoga Mastery program, there's a link in the description below. But basically, you don't have to rely on yourself to wake up because other people are expecting you to show up. You'll almost feel like you'll disappoint the group or you'll disappoint your teacher. Hopefully you have enough respect for me that you do that. But basically, you end up doing it within the first 30 minutes of your day and you can just carry on with your day and feel energized and amazing for the rest of the day because you got it done and you focused on the night before. So stop trying to force your tired body to wake up at 5 a.m. and do a sun salutation until you've actually taken 3 days to feel the pain and to reset your system with this night protocol. And as you saw today, the real war is actually won the night before. So if you want more energy and you want to be able to do yoga in the morning and you want to be able to sit still and work at a desk all day without dozing off at 11 a.m., just remember it's not about how many alarms you set. It's determined by what you do in that final 90 minutes on the previous day. So stop fighting your biology and start working with it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We are a small channel and I could use the social validation to help more people transform their mornings. So as always, if you're struggling with anything related to the yoga practice, make sure to drop a comment below and let me know. But either way, thank you so much for watching till the very end. I hope you have a lovely day and I'll see you in the next one.